You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
So many great shows lined up for the week. Can't wait to get into all of them. But today, we've got a very special show on the 8 programs or the 8 different mindsets and sayings that are truly holding you back from living your best life. So what happens is, as children, we pick up things from our parents, our siblings, our community, any part of our culture or church, whatever it might be. Anything that we pick up and we make a part of ourselves. Well, what happens is sometimes those things are great, and sometimes they actually hold us back in life. Meaning, like, we have more inside of us. We have more to give, we have more to achieve, more to become, and we're not able to reach that because we have these sayings that just play on loop inside of our head that becomes our life, that becomes who we are. So a lot of what we feel deep inside of what we need to achieve in order to feel like this has been a life well lived never comes to fruition because we're stopped by these dominant sayings that play over and over on loop. So what I want to do today is go through 8 of those, and I found a great little graphic that I want to share with you. Now, these are just 8, but these are 8 important ones. And I believe these are things that we need to pass on to our children, that these are things that we need to pass on to the child inside of us who heard these when we were younger, and we need to begin to use the rebuttals to these sayings in order to live our best life. So let's get started. The first one, and I hear this quite a bit, is this: I'm not good at this. So many times we hear a child say, I'm just not good at this, whether it be drawing or writing or doing math or studying, sports, etc. Well, there's a certain thing that allows certain people to be great or at least better than most people in a certain topic or subject. But that goes, again, like each of us have our own unique skills. The problem is, we can't just say we're not good at this. We can't allow our children to say they're just not good at it. Because the truth is, you're going to encounter so many things in life that you need to do that you may not be good at right away, and the key term is right away, in order to get to your goal. Because a lot of times, what stands beside or between us and our goal are a lot of the things that we may not necessarily want to do or that we feel that we're not good at. And the important thing is to look at it like this, is that in the rebuttal, what I would say is this: if you hear someone say, and this goes for yourself most importantly, right? Because you need to take care of yourself so that you can better serve others as well. So if you say, I'm just not good at this, whether it be at work or relationships, family, exercise, etc., I'm not good at this. I want you to say to yourself in a gentle, disarming but gentle way, what am I missing? So instead of, I'm not good at this, say to yourself, this isn't going as easily as it should. What am I missing? What am I missing? Because that's typically the truth. So if you're not to the health that you want, well, you're probably missing the data. You're missing actually what's wrong at a deep underlying root cause level. So if you're retaining water or cellulite, or you start to have acne around the chin or some headaches or moodiness or bloating, and you run a thyroid adrenal hormone test, you may find that you're estrogen dominant. You might find that you're a little bit lower on thyroid-based hormones. Well, that's the data point that you're missing. Instead of saying, I'm not good at this, which might be losing weight or keeping the weight up, well, what are you missing? Well, you're missing that you're estrogen dominant or low on thyroid. Another one could be this, is like, I'm always irritable, I'm always moody, I don't know what's going on with me. Well, sometimes it's honestly as easy as a couple missing minerals. And I know that I don't want that to seem degrading to anyone's issues, but I can tell you right now, a lot of people are literally different people when they don't get enough zinc. Zinc allows for a certain neurotoxin. I won't get into it today, but we used to run this lab all the time about 5-10 years ago in my practice, not quite, probably about 5-7 years ago. And we stopped running it. And the reason is we saw so many people with it, but the truth is that all they needed to do was supplement with some zinc. not overdosing zinc, but this is something that they needed. So I could go on and on. I mean, again, with children and learning disabilities or hyperactivity, not getting enough omega-3s, or getting in, and you can test that again with an omega-3 test, or they're having food sensitivities. They're eating foods that they're sensitive to. So we simply do a food sensitivity test, and it allows them and their body not to be so inflamed, because your brain is part of that body, and your body and your brain talk to each other through the gut-brain axis. And again, you could go through this for every single nutrient deficiency, but that's what it might be. So I look at that, and I always ask people, what am I missing? What am I missing? I try to do that with myself now. Whenever anything is extremely difficult, like this is just taking way longer than it should, and it's way harder than it should, it's much more stressful, I'm missing something. And at that point now, because I've matured a little bit since my 20s, is that I ask for help. I ask for help, whether it's from a coach, a mentor, or anyone. I have a great group of friends and family and network now, and I say, hey, have you ever seen this? Have you ever experienced this? And so that's what I do, and I get feedback as well. So that's extremely important. Whenever you find yourself saying, I'm not good at this, whether it's kids or yourself, ask them, like, listen, you're most likely just missing something. And then once you get that one thing, and I'm sure you've seen this before, it clicks. And things that you weren't good at before, well, you figured it out. Riding a bike is one of them, right? That's a classic example. Okay, the second example, the second saying that goes very much along with the first is this. This is too hard. This is too hard, right? People want to lose weight. It's too hard. People want to keep the weight off. It's too hard to maintain this healthy lifestyle. I want to get well, but it's too hard to eat well and take these supplements and do this, this, and this, right? I want to meet that right person, but it's too hard to put in the effort to do the thing that I want to do, which is meet the right person. Career-wise, it's too hard to study for the certification, too hard to go for the seminars, too hard to make the money to afford the classes, etc., right? All of these things are too hard. That's what people say. Your kids might say that as well. And again, I'm big on this, but I have two, young girls, 4 and 6 years old. And my job is to make sure that as much as I can, because again, they're at school and they're with friends, but I try to set their programming so that they can do people instead of cannot people. Really, really important. We'll talk about that one in a moment. But when they say this is too hard, I say, well, it's too hard in this moment. Yeah, right now, it seems difficult. But the rebuttal to that is this. It might take some time. Do you really expect everything you would do in life to be easy? And the truth is that this is what I've come to find out. What fun would that be? If there was no challenges in life, you'd have nothing to overcome. And if there was nothing to overcome, you'd never feel like you're accomplishing anything. And if you're never accomplishing anything in life, this is when people feel depressed. They feel sad. They feel apathetic because there's nothing left. That's why when so many people retire, unless they keep themselves busy, unless they have a hobby, unless they're working on something like a language or a new craft or whatever it might be, consulting, you're going to lose your zest, your vitality, and that's so much to do with anti-aging. So when someone says it's too hard, the rebuttal to that is this. It is hard. It's a challenge. But that challenge will be overcome with some time. Give it some time. We have time. What else are you going to do with your time? Remember, this is a lifetime of time. That's what we're passing through. And it moves very, very quickly. So take your time, figure it out, and as they say, and I love how this saying goes, the time is going to pass anyway. You might as well be working on a worthy goal or challenge. The third one is this. I give up, right? So I'm not good at this. It's too hard. What's the next one? I give up. Well, we can't allow that in our children. We can't allow it in ourselves. I'll give you a couple reasons why. The first one is this. If you give up, you're basically saying that that task, that thing, that whatever it was, has power over you. It's bigger than you. It's just too much to overcome. The problem with that is, again, if you started it in the first place, there was most likely a goal on the other side that you were looking to achieve. So now you've given up on that goal, at least temporarily, but you've given up on that goal. The other thing is this. The more times you say, I give up, it begins to create a mindset and an attitude of failure or giving up. And we can't have that for many reasons. The reason we can't have that is that you're going to eventually come to a next new obstacle, right? You have a goal. You'd already have your goal right now if you knew how to do that thing. So you don't, which means you're going to encounter new challenges on the way to achieving as a human being. So these are things that we need to take into account, which means we're going to use the rebuttal now of, let me figure out a different strategy. The first strategy did not work. But as I always say, that's a good thing. Now you figured out one more way that isn't going to work. But as I say, there are only so many different possibilities. If you have high cholesterol, it's about 6 possibilities. High blood pressure, about the same. Autoimmune, we can go directly after the gut-based issues and heavy metal and toxicity. Remember, there's only so many things. That's it. So you can't give up because you just figured out one more way that it wouldn't work. That was Edison, one of Edison's favorite quotes. Do you get frustrated trying to create the light bulb with, over 1,000 times? No, every time was one more opportunity to figure out what didn't work, and he always wrote them down. He said, I'm not going to do that one again. And I know there's a lot of controversy around Edison and the different discoveries and all those things, but it's a good analogy. Think of it like this. You're not going to give up. You're just going to say, that strategy is not serving me. I need to move on to the next. All right, number 4 is this. I'll never be that smart, right? So we've got, I'm not good at this. This is too hard. I give up, or I'll never be that smart. Okay. Or I'll never be good at it, whatever you want to say. Now, when we say that, we're basically programming into our mind that we're not smart, that we're not good enough, and that most likely this one is going to be a succession of failures. So when we have that type of mindset, not only can we not have it for that one task, but that it's going to snowball. It leads to a snowballing effect where we begin to become less and less powerful in our mindset. Our self-esteem begins to decrease. We look at someone who can't do rather than can do. It's one of the reasons why I really despise these classifications of, oh, this child is a poor test taker. This child is dyslexic. This child has ADD. This child has ADHD. This child's has executive functioning disorder. Whatever the labels are that we want to give kids. When we put a label on a child, they are now separated from the rest of children, and they're in a camp that they've been labeled, especially under the age of 8 years old, that tells them they're different, that tells them they're always going to struggle, and that's just the way that it is. I literally cannot stand that. I can't. Because you're programming a young child's mind for the rest of their life. Unless they work on right now, unless they're listening to this show today, understand that they can reprogram it, right? When you say, I'll never be that smart, we need to come back with a rebuttal of this. I will learn how to do this. I will learn how to do this. Everybody can learn how to do any task out there. Will it take some people a little longer at doing a certain task? Yes. They're not as suited for that specific task because of many different reasons. But everyone can do that task. Everyone can do math. Everyone can learn to draw. Everyone can do all of these things. Now, will they ever be the greatest artist in the world, or will they be a wizard at math? No, they may not. But they're going to be able to figure out any task that they need to in life in order to achieve their goal. And that's just the truth. Because you can hire the tutors, you can watch the videos, you can find knowledge for anything you need. And most likely, if you're saying, I'll never be that smart, is you don't have the right teacher. That's the truth. If a child's labeled as something, that teacher is essentially just said, you know what, I don't want to spend as much time, I want to give up on them, whatever the things. And I know that might sound a little harsh because teachers are overwhelmed as it is. But the truth is this. We can't let children or adults be saying, I'll never be that smart. That's not it. We can't have that. If their goal is to achieve something, we need to say this, I will learn how to do it. Number 5 is this really my best work? I like this one a lot. I'm a big fan of this one. And the reason why I enjoy this one is that we can skate by in life doing C+ work, right? Just kind of average work, mediocre work. It's enough to get by. The problem is, as we start to do any task in life as just enough to get by, we set that up as our MO. as our modus operandi, as they say. That is our way of operating, right? And we can't have that. I'm a big believer in the as you do anything is so you do everything. Meaning like give your best. Give your best. It doesn't take that much more. Maybe like a second look over your writing that you did or studying that you were doing, maybe just 20 more minutes, right? So what I don't want people to do is just say, is it good enough? Or it's good enough, okay? I want you to come back with, is this my best work, right? And I don't need you to be a perfectionist, and I don't want you to get anxious about all these things, but I want to ask yourself, is this representative of me? I want you to represent yourself as the person you know yourself to be. Is that your best work? Is that your best work in the gym? Is that your best work in your relationship? Your career? Is that the best work in your body? Is that the best work in your health? And if it is, or it's 90%, right? It doesn't be 100, but if it's 90%, you get an A. That's good. I'll take that. I don't want to see that C+ work. It's not good enough. Okay. The next one is this. I just can't do this. These are all task-based, again, because every single person out there right now, whether it's an adult or a child, is trying to accomplish things in their life. They're not just sitting back. They're not a bystander in life. They're at their work, their relationship, again, health, body, spirituality, whatever it is. And when you say, I just can't do this, you're giving yourself that out. And you're telling yourself that you're not a goal achiever, that you're someone that tends to fail. So here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to think about. I'm going to train my brain in order to be able to achieve this. So instead of I can't do this, you're going to say, I'm going to come up with some type of system, some type of method that I know works for me. Because remember, we all learn in different ways. I'm someone that reads and looks at images, words as images and images to learn from those. I'm not someone that learns by listening. That does not work for me. I don't memorize songs like my wife can memorize every single song out there. I don't know the words to even the most popular songs. I know none of them because I can't see them on paper. That's the difference. So what I want you to do is to say, because I could say this, I can't do this. I can't memorize a song because I can't. Not auditory based, but I can if it's put on a piece of paper written out. And if it's written out and someone asks me to recite those words, I see the picture of the words on the paper. I can't hear them playing. I don't have that ability. But I can see them and I can recite them. So what I want you to do is when you can't do something, I want you to train your brain for another way to be able to accomplish it. Because there's more than one way for sure to accomplish your goal and your task. All right, 2 more to go. I like these 2 as well. I can't make this any better. So when you're saying I can't make this any better, like you know it's not your best work, but you don't know how to make it any better. Can't make it any better. Can't make the relationship any better. I can't make my health any better, body any better, career any better. I want you to say this because you can. So I want you to say this. I can always improve. I just need to find out how. So you know that you can improve. You're saying I can't make this better, but you know it can be better, right? So the fact that you're saying I can't make this better is already saying it could be better. You just can't make it better. So now you lack what? The education. And that's okay. You lack the knowledge. We all lack the knowledge of everything in our life until we learn it for the first time. That's it. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 learnings. So what I would say is this, is if you can't, so you're saying, I can't make this any better. Let's say you're talking about your weight loss goals. You can't make it any better. Well, but you still have 15, 20 pounds to go. That's your goal. So what I need you to think about is this. If you can't make it any better, you need to find someone, something, some program, some blueprint that can. Something outside of yourself. Because right now you can't make it any better, but someone else can. Someone else can help you with this. So all I need you to do is say that you can improve. And that through you improving, you will be able to then achieve that goal. And now you won't be saying, I can't make this any better. You will say, I made this better. Now, when you made that better, guess what that does for the rest of your life? It allows you to build up your self-confidence. You begin to become a goal accomplishing machine. You become a goal achiever instead of just a goal seeker. These things really do snowball in either a negative or a positive direction, and I need you to be moving forward always in that positive direction, all right? Maybe 10 steps forward, 1 step back. That's it. That's still a 90%. We like that. All right. The last one is this, is plan A didn't work. Or we can just say my plan didn't work. All right. A lot of people say that. They went out for a job, it didn't work out. They tried a program that a lot of people had tried before to lose weight, didn't work. They had met with a health practitioner, hoping to get healthy, it didn't work, right? They went out, they were going on a bunch of dates with one person, they thought they were the person, and it didn't work out, right? Same with spirituality. You started to read books on this particular form of philosophy, and it just didn't mesh with you. It didn't work out. Any of your goals didn't work out for one reason or another, right? It's a good way to look at it like this. That was plan A. But there's more than one plan A. What is your plan B? So if you didn't get the job, the career, whatever it is right now, I want you to say is this, well, there's always a plan B. There is always a plan B. So if you're looking to, let's just say this, you have bloating and digestive issues, and you say, okay, well, I've heard probiotics works for a lot of people, so I'm going to take probiotic, and they work great for your friend. So fantastic. You'll use them as well. That's your plan A. I'm going to use probiotics. I'm going to repopulate my gut. I'm going to seal up that gut, and I'm going to feel great. Okay. Didn't work. Still bloating. You'll say, oh, that didn't work. Now you can just give up, right? Or you can say what? What is my plan B? I don't know. You can say that because you're not the health practitioner. But what is plan B? And your health practitioner, most likely, or if you go to see a health practitioner, they'll say, okay, you still have the bloating. Why don't we do this? Let's run an organic acids test. Let's run a stool test that can look for parasites and H. pylori and bacterial overgrowth in the gut. Let's run a food sensitivity test to see why you might have so much inflammation. You run those tests, and it comes back with no parasites, no H. pylori, but some E. coli overgrowth, as well as some candida overgrowth. And now you know exactly what you need to do to wipe those things out so that when you eat certain foods, they don't ferment in your gut. They don't cause the bloating. They don't cause the gas, and they don't cause all the other issues that come along with digestive issues. So your plan A didn't work, but that's okay because now you know that probiotics wasn't the answer in the beginning because you already had a gut full of bacteria, right? So we had to remove it first in order to rebuild. So those are just a few examples. But what I'm trying to teach you today is every negative thought or saying that comes into your mind or that your children speak, we need to really say the truth behind the matter. Because I'm not just giving you a rebuttal, I'm giving you the truth. I'm not good at this, you need to ask yourself, what am I missing? This is too hard? You just need to say, listen, not everything in life is easy. Not every goal is going to be easy, and that's a good thing. It might take some time. I'm willing to put in the time. It's worth it. You might say, I give up. You say, no. I'm not giving up. I'm going to look at a different strategy. Someone's achieved this before. I'm going to look at that strategy. Or you might say, I'll never be that smart. Okay, fine. You can say that. But I want you to say this instead. I want you to come back with a rebuttal of, you will learn how to do this. That you are learning in a way that's just not compatible yet for you, or right now for you, but there is another way. And when you say, it's not good enough, or it's good enough, I should say, I need you to ask yourself, is this A quality work? Is this your best work? Is it representative of you? The sixth one is this. I just can't do this. I can't do this, right? We don't want to say that. We need to say this. We need to get back into it. I'm going to train my brain on how to do this. I'm going to look for another strategy, another way around this obstacle. I know I can figure it out. Again, someone else has done it. I'm going to do it as well. Number 7 is I can't make this any better. And you're going to say this. All you lack right now is the know-how, that there's always a way to improve, and you're going to figure it out. And the last one, the 8th one, is this. My plan A didn't work. And you can say, okay. But you can look at it from the perspective of, that is now just one more way that you know isn't going to work on the short list of things that will work. That is the best and absolute way to look at life. I'm telling you right now, if you begin to take that attitude, if you begin to reprogram your brain, starting with your sayings and most dominant thoughts, you will begin to transform your life. Thanks so much for tuning in today to the Cabral Concept. Do appreciate each and every one of your listens. And as always, if this was helpful, please do feel free to pass this along to anyone it may serve. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rainbarrel.